Welcome back, everybody. Are you planning one last summer bash, but you want to make sure you are getting your money's worth for what you have and what you make? Seafood prices are predicted to rise this holiday weekend, but have no fear because Dover Caterers president Butch Yamali is here to share his tips for your Labor Day lobster bake. All right, the chefs are in the house. Good of you both to be here. Executive Chef Chris is here as well. So Butch, get us started here. I want to have a lobster bake, and I'm going to go pick out my lobster. What am I looking for? This is obviously a beauty.
This is a beauty, yeah. You're looking for a nice lobster. Female is preferable.
How do you know the difference between female and male?
Male and female, the difference is really you can tell by the tail. It's a wider, broader tail, and if you look on the inside, you can see the roe.
I actually never knew that. Okay.
Yes.
And the roe, you're going to tell me you can use for all kinds of delicious
It's
yummies.
delicious. It adds to it, and it's part of the lobster, which is really great. That's
all right. And I've always heard that the bigger the lobster, not always the better. It's good to have big lobster, but the bigger too big can be...
The bigger you get, the shell is hard. When the shell is hard, the usually meat inside is tough. The most preferable or most popular size of lobster is a 3-pounder. You have plenty of meat. And it's, the shell is still relatively soft. It's not as hard as a bigger lobster than that.
And why is this lobster red and this one's a blackish color?
This is already cooked. This is live. This guy is ready to be cooked in the pan.
We've got a live one.
Live,
all right, so we don't have it cooked yet. All right.
Feisty.
I'm asking the obvious questions because a lot of people like to do this, and a lot of people say, I wish I could just hire Butch to come to my house to do this. But you're going to tell me it's pretty easy, right?
It's very easy, sure.
All right, so you need a big pot, though.
I'm going to let the chef explain.
Please do, because this is like one lobster, and he's barely fitting in this one pot.
Stuff him in.
Yeah, that's all. Gotta get the flavors going. That's the most important.
All right, by the way, how much does a lobster like this cost?
Lobster like this, you're looking,
it's probably about
$8, $9 a pound.
Look at this claw. This is insane.
This is probably about, $25 this lobster to buy it uncooked.
Is that a Maine lobster?
That's a Maine lobster. It's a beautiful lobster. Look at the size of this one.
All right, so talk to me. How are we cooking these babies?
Like I said, flavor. Flavor's the most important. So you're going to use corn. You're going to use potatoes. You're going to throw some shrimp in there, some clams in there.
I love it. That's the true lobster bake. All right, so let's talk the seafood over here because we are looking at the fact that prices are going up into Labor Day. What are we looking for with the shrimp and every holiday happens?
Just
supply and demand, right?
Shrimp is a variety. You have the 1620 shrimp, which is this size. It's the most popular shrimp. You can get it either cleaned and deveined without the tail, or you can get it like this. All shrimp you get is frozen. So if you go to the supermarket or the fish store, they tell you it's fresh, frozen, and they thaw it out. You're better off buying it frozen yourself and thaw it out yourself.
And what is the 1620 to the pound?
1620 is 16 to 20 pieces per pound of shrimp. That's this size. You can get this size, which is under 8 to the pound.
All right, so that's a jumbo shrimp we're looking at here.
Cocktail or some type of a pasta dish is very good.
Okay. I see prawns.
These are prawns, and when you cook them, they're also just big, large shrimp. I mean, it's unbelievable. All
right, let's talk clams, because this is always a tough one for me. How are you picking these out? Usually they have buckets of them when you go buy them. How do you know which ones are good?
There's a variety. The larger clam usually used for chowder, because there's a lot of meat inside, and it's kind of tough. The smaller one, which is called the top neck, is used for baked clams, and you can even eat them. They're not as tough as the larger ones. The little necks are the most popular ones. That's what you get when you go to a clam bar. You get beer with the little necks.
So if you want to have a cheap seafood bake or boil, should we go with clams? I mean, because shrimp, lobster, that gets pretty expensive. You can do this pretty inexpensively.
You can do it much less expensive than lobster and shrimp, of course. Yeah. But some of the shrimp is not that expensive right now. If you buy it before the holiday weekend, you're great to go. Even lobster, buy it, put it in your refrigerator, let it thaw out, and cook it over the weekend.
All right, and frozen versus fresh is always a big question because
always fresh.
Always fresh.
Except for shrimp, but you can't.
But you should always ask, right? Because they don't always note that.
They don't always note that. That's right.
Chef, are we missing anything over here as far as price, picking out the seafood?
Well, the smell test you have to know.
Oh, what do I need to know?
You always want to know as far as shrimp goes. If it smells like ammonia or if it smells a little fishy, don't buy it. Just walk away from it. If you open up a clam,
that's the case with all the seafood?
Everything. Other than if you get live lobster, you're usually in good shape. If you get a lobster that's dead, don't buy it either. That's
come on, Chef. To a certain extent, it all smells like the ocean. It smells fishy. What are you saying? You'll know when it's bad. Okay.
It's rough.
Okay. And how often does that happen?
It happens. I mean, if you don't get fresh stuff, it happens often because people save it. You want to go buy your fish from a busy store or go to a busy restaurant to eat seafood if you want fresh stuff.
If you go into a fish market and it smells like fish, it's probably not good. You want that sweet smell of the ocean. That's when you know the fish is fresh.
Fair enough. All right, good stuff. Thanks to both of you for joining us.
Thank you.
Good tips for your Labor Day bake or boil or whatever that is that you're doing. All right, Butch Yamali, thank you.
Thank you.